This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
I care less what workers of iniquity. Rastafari, it's my security. Chilling, and I'm going out and coming in. Never leave by Jaja.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, City of Hope, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, Kelly's Home Center, KF's Nutrition, Percy's Games, Pinder Towel, Prince Masters, Sandcastle Bahamas, Tropical Gyros, and the Water and Sewage Corporation.
My preference to make you right off. Let me be a shield to me, reveal to me the backyard where the body long to me. You never hesitate for us to seal for me. I lay, and I'm going out and when my forward in. Never leave I Jaja. Keep me far from vampires, and I'm going out and coming in. Keep me far from demons, keep me far from Satan. More time I can't believe.
You've got it locked to the Friday, May 9th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy, Naughty along with Mary Jane in your company right up until 6 p.m. Friday, Weekend Review, Open Line Friday. We're going to talk about plenty as we get into Mother's Day weekend. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
All the moms in the 242. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed. And I want you all to have a great Mother's Day, but I want you to have the most special Mother's Day. I'm thinking of doing some, maybe coming to America foolishness, like letting the boys get on all fours and then serve the breakfast on their back, like put the breakfast tray on one's back and then put the beverages on the other's back and just tell them freeze.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
But
No.
I mean, come on, man. I mean,
Yeah,
man, I mean.
Well, I know that Chavi definitely has something planned, so he'll probably do. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. I don't know.
I heard talks of cooking, so yeah.
He does make good pancakes.
If they stay in their zone and in their lane, I'm happy. If they try to get too fancy like Gordon.
Although our oldest is quite the chef,
They
so
are,
maybe
they are.
at some
I
point
give them
he'll
their
be able
props.
to do something.
I give them their props, so they did mad props with the chefery. And like I said, have a great Mother's Day. And I just say a happy Mother's Day as well to everybody out there in my club. If you don't have your mom, still celebrate it anyway, because that's what she'd want you to do. All right, so have a great weekend. And listen, got a couple of little FYIs to get out of the way. All right. Ooh, you want to go on a cruise, MJ?
Tell me about it.
Yeah, no.
Tell me about the cruise.
I'm trying to get this cruise.
I know how you are.
And every time I talk cruise, I ain't gonna lie. Some
memories
memory just runs across my mind about the worst one being when my dad found out I was about 9 in the comedy show, and it was an adult comedy show, and what they did was hide under the table. So
Who's they who hid under the? Was it you that hid under the table?
it was me who hid under the table.
Not they, you.
No, I will remain secret. I keep my sources secret as to who put me under the table. But there were several people who colluded to help me do that. And they came up with the idea. They was like, all you have to do is go under the table. We'll find you an empty table. You go under the table.
How old were you again?
9.
Wow.
And they were looking for me. And he goes on the bridge. He turns on the main speaker, the one you do for emergencies,
Yikes.
and he called out my full name. Get to the bridge now. And the joke was,
he must have been
they saw me
upset.
break off running under the table. And I didn't go through the closer exit. I literally went across the stage,
Wow.
up, out, and the next day people thought it was part of the show.
Gotcha. So,
But I should have known then a career in comedy was in my future. I didn't know it then. But looking back now, Now, here we go. Guardian Media Group is got a cruise giveaway promotion going on, all right?
Sounds cool.
Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel want to take you on a 7-day cruise for 4 to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba on Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part. No visa required.
What?
That's right, no visa required.
So no stops in the. Okay.
It's all good. The only visa you need to carry is the one who's sitting next to American Express.
In Florida or Galway.
Ways to win. Number 1, fill out the form in the Nassau Guardian. 2, listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9. Follow us, Guardian Radio, on Facebook and Instagram, or make a purchase at Going Places Travel. Now, the entry deadline is June 27th, 2025, and the drawing is on July 4th. You can't miss that. American Independence Day of this year, all right? So pack your bags, get ready to soak up the sun and feel the ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones.
That is just.
So if you've been, I know it's me and the boys.
Well,
if I've been, it's you and the boys.
Let's see if we can
You
even
and 3 loved
enter.
ones set into the high seas on vacation cruise of a lifetime, brought to you by the Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Certain conditions apply. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included.
Okay.
Still
But that
sound like a
does
winner,
sound
winner,
like a
chicken
really
dinner.
great,
Yeah.
trip to win.
And then Mother's Day, don't forget, big things popping at Naughty Johnny's. All right? You definitely want to take advantage of that. Mom's Surf and Turf. Grilled lamb with au jus, stuffed chicken breast, half lobster tail with lemon butter sauce, grilled shrimp, cheesy loaded mashed potatoes, a very special dessert, $75.95 plus VAT. And then they got Mom's Oceanic Special, fried snapper, crab and rice, potato salad, a very special dessert, $42.95. So however you want to do it, you could do it. Mom's Safe and Turf. And grilled lamb, stuffed chicken breast, half lobster, grilled shrimp, cheesy loaded mashed
That's on
potatoes.
Sunday?
My God.
Well, before you get to Sunday, there's Saturday. And Energy has a Saturday special for Mother's Day. Energy at Old Fort Bay. Just pop in there on Saturday. They've got the conch chowder made with coconut milk. The main course is a jerk chickpea bowl with your choice of protein. For dessert, and this, I got to tell you, sounds absolutely scrumptious, chocolate caramel banana bread. And a massage therapist will be on site from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. giving mothers a free 5-minute massage. And when you're like stressed, like how most moms are stressed, that 5-minute massage is going to feel like an hour of bliss. So moms out there, be sure to check them out. Go get some delicious food this Saturday at Energy Bahamas at the Old Fort Bay. They've got a Mother's Day special happening, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Particularly that chocolate caramel banana bread. I am going for that. I'm getting that. That is mine.
Any excuse to go to Energy is a
is
good
mine.
reason to get a tuna sandwich. So
Yeah.
you worry about the banana bread. I can see some of that anyway, but that tuna sandwich, off the chain. All right, we got a fully loaded, like I say, weekend review show for you today. And if you want to chime in, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6.
325-4316. You can
325-4259. And toll free in any one of the family islands, 242-300-5720.
Absolutely.
Now, if you want to stream us live, take us wherever you want to go, GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's how you get it in. That's how you get it on for fresh news, smart talk all day, right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. And like I said, we got lots to talk about, MJ. Looking at the headlines, and we'll jump into them in a second. You know, stuff off social media, just jumping up. I've seen some things, you know. Where are we going in 2025? We going down the right path? Are we trying to get better? Or are we just like the hamster on the proverbial wheel?
First, who's we?
We as a country, the Bahamas,
Okay,
us,
it's just got to be
Bahamian, the peoples,
specific.
are we still chasing the wheel like the hamster on the wheel?
I mean,
I wonder how the hamster feels if they ever broke off the wheel and just say, you know, let's try something different. Let's run a different course.
yeah, I don't know.
I've always wondered that because I look at us and we keep doing the same thing over and over. Thank you, over and over again. So much so to the point now where I look at just driving around. A lot of hungry people out there still. A lot of people feeling it. A lot of, I don't want to say I want to say destitute. It's like an air. It's hanging over. There's a heaviness.
Well, there's a lot of stress. We understand what's happening globally. I do believe that earlier today, U.S. President Trump kind of walked down the tariffs, the number for China.
Of course
I think
he
it went
would.
from 145. I think that he's now saying his administration is now saying it'll come in at around 80%, which is still kind of tricky because some analysts are saying that that's not going to move the needle with the Chinese. And there have been some kind of stark predictions about the supply chain and that in about 3 weeks, the U.S. could begin to experience shortages in the supply chain, the likes of which we haven't seen since COVID. And nobody wants to go back to that because you remember the backlog that occurred after that sent everything just prices sky high, along with other factors that
And then
contribute
there's
to inflation. But
The
it's
Canada
scary.
factor as well, too. I mean, I was glad to see that Canada reminded President Trump that we're your biggest customer. Like, you got both ends of the spectrum. You got trade issues with China. You got Canada that's upset with you. They threatening to hold back all the maple syrup. It's like, where's this administration going? I mean, shouldn't they take a step back maybe and de-escalate a lot of things? If it's foreboding in 3 weeks to a month that it's going to reach those levels that you just mentioned?
Speaking of de-escalation, it's time to get to the headlines.
You always want to get to this headline, and I know why. Big and bold in the Guardian.
No, I
today.
mean, because
you're
you're talking about it.
No, I know, but it's a great segment because you called it out, last week, and I love it. China decries Rubio's smear, in quotes. Embassy says China does not force any country to take sides. Well, I see. Let me get my comedian hat off because I was ready to.
To what?
I was ready to make a joke, but I'll lay back. Maybe if you give a lot of infrastructure, of course, you don't have to force anyone. If you show them a lot of love and a lot of gifts and a lot of currency and a lot of loans, man, that
A
ain't
little bit
forcing.
of soft power.
There you go.
That used to be a thing for the Americans back in the day. They've kind of, pulled back the carrot and just trying to focus on using the stick.
Monroe defends responses to downtown fire.
Okay.
Moxie takes command. Floyd P. Moxie was sworn in yesterday as the 9th Commodore of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force in a ceremony at HMBS Coral Harbor. Sears won't say if he will run again. Oh, boy. When politicians at this time and this juncture
Not
say,
sure.
I'm not sure.
Although I do have to give a shout out to Mr. Sears, who happens to be our MP, right? I got a very, very lovely gift today from his constituency office. And it was kind of cool, because, well, whenever there's like a big occasion, you get things like, particularly, I guess, around Christmas, they'll come around and give gifts, and then maybe a card for Mother's Day. But this gift box, which I'm assuming that all of the moms in the Fort Charlotte constituency received, was so cute. It was like a beautiful, beautiful cup, as well as candles, lotions. That all smelled so nice.
Watch what us
Listen.
dads get if we get something from him on Father's
I'm
Day.
just
Watch.
saying it was kind of cute. So shout out to Mr. Sayers and his team for putting that together. I did not expect it. I really, really didn't expect it.
So it was a Dawn Better cried than that fruitcake for Christmas sake.
Well, the fruitcake was a little tricky because you never know with fruitcake. You're right. But no, this one, I think they put a lot of thought into it. So, yeah, thanks to Mr. Sayers and his team. I do appreciate it. You know what I mean? I think most of the moms in Fort Charlotte appreciate the gesture. So
It is a gesture.
shouts
It's a
out
thoughts
there.
that counts. And,
It's actually
I'm
cute.
glad you like it, so.
Usually they don't put together
No.
good, you get, like you say, the fruitcake, but this is a lot bit better. So shout out to them.
And shout out to Pope Leo, too. I'm becoming a
I
fan
knew
of
you were
Pope
gonna
Leo.
talk about
That's my
the
buddy right
Pope.
there. I like Pope Leo. I like the new
the
Pope.
Lion. Leo the 14th,
Well, they used to
correct?
call my grandpa Leo the Lion, K.M. Thompson. That was his nickname because he was charter founder president of the Lions Club. So
Okay,
that,
cool.
that was
Oh,
his
that's pretty
nickname.
cool.
And they got the big statue with the lion with his name on it.
I
Boom.
recall seeing that, yes.
There you go. So I like Pope Leo. No disrespect. Because obviously he's a sports fan.
And we're learning so much about it. Like in a couple of hours, we're learning so much about him.
I could take to that, man.
Apparently, this is the first black pope, right? Like that's the word on the screen.
Yeah, man. And that was the next thing. I was like, okay.
Man.
So it's all good. I like the Pope.
Did you watch the movie The Conclave? You need to watch it.
but I'll be
'cause
honest with you.
I can tell you,
if the Cubs win the World
it's
Series this
something.
year, then I know Pope Leo got something to do with it.
Right, or the Bears do anything special in football.
There you go.
Because he's a big Bears fan as well.
Let me check, see if the Cowboys playing the
Attended
Bears this year.
Villanova, and the Knicks seem to be on fire right now. He's actually shouted them out
shout
on
out to
social
John
media.
Simon at John Shoes, one of our big sponsors. I know he's proud today
Is
because
he
he's all Villanova graduate. He's all
okay.
Wildcat right there.
All
So there
right.
you go. Shout out to the Villanova connection. And I love how Villanova, you showed it to me the other day, how they thumb their nose in the face of Notre Dame.
Yeah, they on Twitter carrying on. A lot of the Knicks players apparently attended Villanova.
They had four
right?
on there. They had DiVincenzo, they had Jalen Brunson, they had Josh Hart, and then they added Mikal Bridges.
Right.
And they were there momentarily, as a foursome. And then
At Villanova.
obviously they had the opportunity to get Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota. So they
Gotcha.
packaged DiVincenzo with Julius Randle and made the trade for Karl Anthony
Which
Towns.
is working out good for them as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
on both ends of the court. I mean, on both ends of that trade, it worked out well because both of those are in the playoffs right now. They upset, the Wolves upset the Lakers in the first round. The Knicks now look like they're on the verge of upsetting the Celtics.
Crazy, but the Pope, the new Pope,
Yes.
did attend Villanova. He's an American, which I gotta tell you that kind of surprised me because they always thought that with the kind of power that the Pope wields globally, and with America already being a superpower, that that position they didn't want to put too much power in the hands of the Americans like that. But it
Man.
looks like they're looking at things differently. The
American Pope,
princes
and
of the church, the cardinals, and so now we have an American Pope who's really represents the Americas because he spent a lot of time in Peru,
In South America as well.
speaks so many languages, has heritage from the Caribbean, from Santo Domingo, I guess Hispaniola. And, he just seems to be a very kind of relatable person.
He does
seem that way.
He does seem like he is relatable. I think that's kind of what I took from him. Like, the Pope is kind of cool. We could sit down and drink a brewski and watch a baseball game. That's
I
kind
don't
of
know
cool.
about the brewski, but
All right, some holy water and watch it. Kind of same thing I said about the PM, If I got my sports circle or I got
You
my
mean
breakfast club,
some leaders
especially
are-
when it's baseball,
some leaders
man,
are much cooler when it comes to just the
and I said, like,
everyday
it's
stuff.
brave at my table if we watching baseball. If I got a baseball bunch and we watching the games regular, man, he's at my table. He's in my circle. He's in my crew.
Right.
You see how, we had great conversation at Dome Blink.
home
And
run-
he
home
generally
run
likes sports.
derby.
So I get him on that level. Maybe I don't get him on other levels, but on that level, I get him. And that's why I tell a lot of my PLP friends, listen, Brave can't go wrong. Brave, he's just likable. It's the body y'all got to watch
he's
out.
affable.
And once you attack the body, this administration going to fall because the body got a lot of weak spots. If you're a good boxer, you counter punch, you take the body, he going to fall. No matter how much you like him. Kind of like Pacquiao years ago when they knocked him face in the dirt. It's like,
Right. But just, seeing leaders that are kind of down to earth does kind of
that's why
make
Barack
them more
always hit home with me.
relatable.
And
the,
Clinton.
The Pope does seem.
and
the
not
new
for two
Pope.
obvious reasons for people who think you know me to know. No, just they were cool. They just seemed cool people.
Right.
If I look at you like I could sit down and slam domino with you or watch a game with you, then you got my ear.
Most politicians do
If you
kind
come
of.
off like a presumptuous, you know what, then hey, buddy, you get the comedian side of me. Let's see what you all about. Let me
I
call
shouldn't
you
say
on your beer.
most, but a lot of politicians do make sure that they have that side of them that people can relate to. Like, for instance, the current U.S. president, President Trump. Well, we've known him for so many years from the reality shows, and just his life has always been public facing. But the vice president, for example, J.D. Vance, their new vice president, he's got a dog, which Trump does not have a dog. Even though that's
I
a
like
typical- he has
leaders
to
with
make up
dogs and pets too.
Right, because that too makes them kind of relatable. Like if animals can't deal with you, probably humans can't either, right?
Right.
That's, politicians normally do. Some of these things are acts to look like normal.
Yeah.
And you can tell when that's the case.
And boy, I tell you, speaking of looking like normal, man, what's up with his son? How tall is he now? Like 7'2"?
Who's that?
Trump's son.
Oh my goodness, Barron
And
Trump.
can't even play ball. I mean, my God, 7
You
foot
don't
for the waist.
wait a minute. You don't know that he cannot play ball. You do not know that. Like, we don't know much about his
he
life.
better get it from his mama because I could look at Donald and Donald can't shoot no hoop. He might do some other things, but he can't shoot no hoop.
Well, I do know that. Yeah, we've watched
He'll
his
never
son.
make basketball all great again. Maybe something else. Maybe football. Maybe something else, but not basketball.
We watched his son grow up, and he has grown up.
He's huge.
Really tall. Yeah.
When else has his wife made a public appearance? And when she does she still have like the who farted look on her face, like around him?
You're talking about the first lady. I haven't seen their
She
first
been
lady
ghost.
or our first lady in a while. So
Swayze.
yeah,
Oh boy.
I would want to see more.
All right.
I
Well,
would.
we got lots to talk about. We're going to crank open the lines on the flip side of the break. Let me get to a couple of these texts. Good day, Naughty and MJ. The different cause is the CEO. There, you lost me right there. And Trump is coming around and Brave. Yeah, maybe so.
Trump is coming around and what?
And Brave is going down.
Oh, goodness. So that's COI. All right,
Yeah.
COI. We hear you out there.
Good afternoon, MJ. Can I just point out how spot on you were about that meeting the Prime Minister went to? They sure did talk about security in China.
That's why I'm glad I said it. I hope they listen, but they probably don't listen to me. But yeah, we got to be prepared for these things. The days of going in, talking about tariffs, like you could read between the lines. That is not the big deal. We have to be ready to deal with big issues because that's the season that we're in now. So yeah.
All right, we got lots to talk about on the flip side of the break, so keep it right where you got it. The Friday Week in Review, open line edition of Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ continues right
Can
after
people
that.
shout out their moms? If
Yeah, they
want
can
to?
call in and shout
All
out
right.
their moms for sure.
Cool.
Now time when my forward in. Never leave I Jaja. Keep me far from vampires. And never going out and coming in. Keep me far from demons. Keep me far from Satan. More time I can't believe. Feel for grief.
We're still here. Since 1941, the Armory Company has been your trusted partner and one-stop solution for all your business and technology needs. From printers to copier leasing, point of sale to cloud video surveillance, and access control to ATMs, we've got it all. And we ship to all family islands. Call our dedicated customer service team now at 397-1600 or visit us behind Wendy's on Mackey Sands the test of time. The Armory Company. Your success is our business.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Turn up the heat and the flavor with the new Jalapeno Fire from KFC. Crunch into the iconic taste of KFC's original recipe, extra large filet that's made with KFC's secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices cooked to perfection. Stacked high with spicy jalapeno peppers, pepper jack cheese, and our cool but kickin' jalapeno sauce, all wrapped up in a soft toasted brioche bun. Go bolder and crank up the heat with our spicy zinger filet. The new Jalapeno Fire is bringing the heat and it's finger-licking good.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
It's time for the buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John Shoes.
I care less what workers of iniquity. Rasta security, chilling. And I'm going out and coming in. Never leave by Jaja. Keep me far from vampires. And never going out and coming in. Keep me by your right hand. And keep me far from Satan. I let walk with me, talk to me. Show me the thoughts and them heart for me. Me them on my journey, them can't see me. Them a preface me can't write off for me. Be a shield for me, reveal to me the bad guy where them a deal and give me. You never hesitate for us to seal for me. I lay, and I'm going out and when my forward in. Never leave I Jaja.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 9th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy, Naughty and MJ. In your company right up until 6 p.m. And like I said, we're into the buzz, all brought to you, of course, by John Shoes. And like I said, a lot of people buzzing on a lot of things. I got a couple of things I want to buzz on. I'm going to get this out of the way. And feel free to chime in. Phone lines are open. Text lines are open. All right? Be sure to chime in. Let us know what you buzzing on or what's in your craw, what got your goat, whatever got your dander up. One thing that is still, my God. I passed there the other day, me and Andoni, coming up by Go Slow. And it looked as if they were getting ready to move the boards. And I had a fleeting moment thinking the wall has been repaired.
The seawall?
The seawall. And no, it is still kapunkled up. Please, at some point, it's been about 8 months. How much is that costing us? How much is that costing me and you? What work has been done on that? Why isn't it complete? It's all right, I understand.
You're talking about the big billboards right there by Go Slow Bend, where something happened to the wall. It looks like a piece of the seawall has been broken.
It eroded, and then it was to be repaired.
And it hasn't been repaired for a while. That's what you're talking about.
I thought there was light at the end of the tunnel the other day. Obviously, they were just moving the boards that had fallen down again, but the wall hasn't been repaired.
Yeah.
Now, I know it may take a little longer to repair a seawall dealing with erosion, with water actually coming in, so on and so forth. But at some point, you have to be able to complete that wall. We've already had tourists go over on the other side of that.
Which they really should be paying more attention to.
There
but
are
yeah,
other
that has
cracks
happened.
in that wall on that Go Slow Bend, going west and going east, that need to be repaired because obviously coastal erosion is real. When we have high tides and storms and the surges, it's not just the surges. There are cracks in that wall that continue to leak after the surges.
So you're concerned about the whole thing going down?
The whole thing. And if it takes them this long to fix one tiny long, it'll take to fix the whole darn thing.
And we are getting into hurricane season, so yeah. I think that's the thing.
I know it's called Go Slow Bend for a reason, but not go slow and take forever and ever to fix it.
I think that's the thing that kind of has, and to be fair, you cannot expect that everything gets fixed overnight because it's a country. We got,
correct.
Hundreds of thousands of people here, different islands, a lot of places to kind of place our resources. So we do have that understanding that not everything happens overnight. But when you see like no movement on things that are kind of critical, that makes Bahamians frustrated, I feel. And this kind of ties into what's happening with the fire engines.
Yeah.
A lot of people texted me yesterday about that conversation, I guess.
Man, listen.
I think the Minister of National Security was on one of the shows.
I think he was on Mr. Lang yesterday.
On Mr. Lang, on Shivago Lang show. And I did not, because I had like a meeting yesterday. I did not get here, but a lot of people were texting saying, like, you listening to this? I did not get to listen to it, so I'm kind of loath to even comment on it. But I would just say, based on the article in the Guardian today, that a lot of the frustration with Bahamians is not that we're criticizing the firefighters, who we know are professionals, but the failure for the people who answer to us, the people we put in the position to be the administrators of these departments, the failure of them to recognize that a lot of times what we're saying is that you're not providing enough resources. I got the whole explanation about, okay, they got there, I guess, after a couple of minutes, but they, were focused on the fire, not particularly Victoria Gardens. But that is the problem in itself. When I call you and I say my house is on fire, of course I don't want it to spread to my neighbors. But hello, did you hear me? My house is on fire. So have the resources to deal with my house that's on fire, and also do the mitigating things like ensure that the fire doesn't
And I'll be honest with you, there has been questions about firefighting in this country, as far not just with the trucks and the hoses working or the pumps and the water, but the actual strategies used.
Right.
And Lord bless the dead, I could see my Auntie Kay still crying to God on high.
Right.
When we lost the I Need a Laundry fire. That could have been avoided. My auntie was out there telling them, listen, I know the pump ain't working, but you got this truck working. The roof is wooden. Don't let it spread to the roof. If you don't let it spread to the roof, we could be fine. The rest of the building is concrete. It's a concrete structure. It won't burn. Don't let it get to the roof. Oh, we know it's surrounded areas. Now you got to do is a gas station on the side.
Oh, yeah.
And you wanted to make sure that was cool, too.
You definitely have to make sure it doesn't spread.
But at some point, you keep that wet, but you wet the roof if you know the roof is wooden.
I think, like I said, it just comes down
because
to
if you let the
resources.
roof catch, now you got to fight that and still protect the gas stations surrounding areas. So the strategies employed sometimes make one scratch their head.
Right.
And then the lack of equipment. And I don't know yesterday, because I didn't hear, I heard a small portion of the show yesterday, but I don't think the due diligence was done to take in the statistical portion of. We have 2 fire trucks at East Street, at the headquarters, at the barracks.
And you did some research on this. You did
We
some
have
calling
one
around.
on Paradise Island.
Right.
We have one in South Beach. Okay?
Okay.
That's 4. Now, and the airport is in limbo simply because I don't know if that's supposed to be for the additional backup at the airport with planes, or if that one could move.
Right.
So that
so
one's
they
in
may
limbo.
have a couple at the airport.
But now we have none in Carmichael.
Right.
All right? We have none in Elizabeth, none in Cable Beach, and I don't care what you say, I none. And I got the photos to prove it. None.
Or at least not one that's there regularly.
Not regularly.
That's what you think?
And basically, what I've come to understand is we party in New Providence, and of those 5, maybe 3 are operational. That's what I'm getting. But at the end of the day, we need a whole new revamp of that fire department. We need the infrastructure and we need the support. But obviously, you have to take into consideration how many fire trucks we're dealing with. Do the research and know. And then you could easily break it down. I personally think they may have known about that fire within 10 minutes. How they reacted and responded to the fire remains to be seen. Because I personally was on Bay Street when that was going down. And I didn't see no fire truck.
Well, not where you would have thought. But then I think that was the argument that was being made about the way to deal with the fire and whether, preventing it from spreading was more important and how long that should have consumed versus actually getting to the building where Bahamians and persons lost their actual homes. That's a lot. One thing I didn't like based on the article I read in the
BCU.
The article I read in The Guardian is that, and I don't like when politicians do this in general. Sometimes it is warranted and it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes it doesn't. The constant logical fallacy of appeal. They're the professionals. They know that. Don't say anything. I find that to be disturbing, particularly when this particular administration came in saying, a lot of these things need some revamping, need some changing, need some upgrades. But now you just tell us, well, the pros got it. You shouldn't have a comment on it. No, we should always have input.
Correct.
We should always be able to say, hey, I observed this, and listen to your constituents. I observed this. I think this could have been better. I think had we had 3 or 4 trucks respond, maybe things would have been, be able to be controlled a little better. And I think that's a legitimate argument. And I hate when politicians shut down everyday Bahamians and say, well, you're no professional, you don't speak on it. I think that's it's of course a logical fallacy. And I think that in a lot of cases, it's not right or fair to constituents. We got a lot of
all right, let's get to these calls, and then I'll get to these texts. Let's get to the calls. Talking heads.
Hi, good afternoon, Naughty and MJ.
Good afternoon.
My MJ.
Hey.
Regarding the Victoria building,
right?
The building that burned down on Victoria Avenue. I listened to that talk show, Mr. Lang's talk show yesterday.
Okay.
And Mr. Monroe gaslighted this country. I had a knot in my stomach. And I said, praise the Lord, when Candia Dames called in. Because she had first-hand sources. And he tried to knock that down. The fire trucks that's supposed to go to that fire on East Street right there, right?
Correct.
Huh?
I mean, if they have 2 on East Street, those 2 should have been able to respond. If they have them at East Street.
According to Mr. Monroe, they had to deal with the fire down there first to come back up here second, and then they had to deal with one. So the way he spoke, it was word salad in order to confuse Bahamians. In other words, let it burn. He never mentioned that we don't have enough fire trucks. to deal with that fire.
Well, I mean, we've done the math here on this show, caller, so you should know the lack of. I said we've done the math here on this show. We can tell you who's lacking and what we lack and how we lack.
The way he gaslighted us or attempted to, it don't make no sense. Just say we don't have enough fire trucks. Just say the chances of your house burning down is 100%.
Right.
Just say the chances of you not being able to come up with your deductible. Just say we are not you, Mr. Monroe.
Thank you so much, caller.
All right, caller, good stuff. Let's get to the other calls. Talking heads.
Great weekend.
Talking heads.
Yeah, good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Happy Mother's Day, MJ.
Thank you so much.
What's going on, 52?
I respect MJ because you said something on the radio. She just like my wife, man. You said she's helping the child with the BJC work. So, but I know MJ smart because I listen to her speak.
I have to have.
But I'll share this with you. Naughty. Hello.
Go ahead, 52. I'm listening.
I need some help, Naughty.
What's that?
There's a lot of gaslighting, but no infighting, right? I don't know if you following Eyewitness News. I'm wondering why Eyewitness News is the only people talking about this coroner's inquest into the dubious shooting on Cowpen Road, right? The police force has been allowed to run away with this country, right? They're creating a lot of angry young men, and there's a lot of injustices going on. As even as it relates to the case with the married police officer and the problem with his wife and the assault with the revolver with somebody who was with her, whatever it was, right? You heard it. It was in the news, right?
I vaguely remember that story, and I remember the story that you're speaking of.
It was death threats, cause of harm, assault with a deadly weapon, etc., etc. He was given a bail and is lenient, and the lawyer argued that he doesn't deserve to wear the ankle bracelet and all that, but they don't understand the repercussions of him not wearing an ankle bracelet with the powers that the people hold. I'm afraid that it's cheaper to try to go to the embassy. You don't hear comments from the national security minister. You don't hear comments from the commissioner of police who promised that she implemented some new measures. But what we need is accountability. What is most disheartening for me is the fact that it was disclosed on Eyewitness News, right, that the officer who works in the army or whatever recanted his statement saying that he didn't find a 7.62, right, which would be from an AK, right? I live in the States, so these things are familiar for me. I was saying, I wonder why would the lawyer say that this gentleman who testified, he is a police, he testified in the coroner's because he said that this officer is not a ballistics expert. But Naughty and MJ, you really think you need to be a ballistics expert to see the difference between a 7.62 and a .223?
No, not really. You can tell the difference.
That is the biggest. See, what I'm saying is this is another Zario Major. Okay. But and you have word on the streets is these people bragging that nothing will come out of this. So I don't know.
Yeah, but 52, it speaks to the bigger picture. You don't want to see extrajudicial killings in any way, shape, or form.
A lot of work to do.
Listen to me. His mother is in the newspaper. This obviously from day one when you follow the case, it said that no shots were fired at the back. The windshield was in arc. The back windshield.
Right.
Well, I saw it on Eyewitness News. But what I'm saying is, Lordy, man, I give up on these people, man. Listen to me. But at least, how would you mean recount a statement? So that means initially you perjured yourself before the coroner's inquest if you said that you found this particular peculiarities and in ballistic use this particular caliber 7.62. Lordy, anyone can see the difference in those. This is much bigger than the other one.
But 52, that again speaks to what we have to go through, and with our judiciary, we've seen this over time. You know, there are always irregularities, and we have to get out of that.
But you know how it is when they vaccine. No one is coming forward, and they want the people to trust these people, Naughty.
52, it's on me and you when we go to the polls to make the decisions we need to do, and we got to get some other calls in.
The power structure is still the same where they're able. You see, we really could have them investigating themselves. I give up on this place, but this place is a big disgrace.
No.
Good stuff, 52. Have a good weekend,
You're still a citizen of this country, and it's
keep
our
on
country.
agitating.
We just have a lot of work to do.
Let's get these other calls. Talking heads.
Hey,
what's happening?
So, one thing I would say with the...
Turn your radio down just a little bit for me.
Sorry. Yeah, one thing I would say with the fire engine situation, because I think, like, we surrounded by water, and with the advent of technology, we need to start having bigger ideas, because the old vanguards, I don't think they're technologically savvy. Like, I don't think a person like Wayne Monroe is even concerning himself with technology, because I don't think people in that age level will see the future, right? So
He's not. Wait. He's
Easy
not
now,
that. He's not
easy.
that one.
I mean, in as far as leadership and generations, because
Okay.
you can need new leaders. You can need new generations of people who could be more technologically savvy. So I speak in like
No,
skills
okay, we
awards.
get
and,
it.
You know
we
what I
get
mean? I'm talking about when we look at generations to come. And I think we have a technological gap and we don't have big ideas. And because we don't have a lot of people making big ideas who in these positions or even daring to say like, yeah, let's use salt water and run it and use a reverse osmosis process and use technology to actually address these things and make fire trucks maybe irrelevant in the future, where we have a water system that could actually speak to these wars. So
Well, all ideas in this case are good ideas. I mean, and we need to present them. And good stuff.
Keep them coming.
Let's get to the other calls. Talking Heads.
Hello.
Hello.
Naughty, what's happening?
What's happening?
Everything good. Did you guys listen to the interview with the minister yesterday on Trivago show?
Several people texted me. I was in a meeting. I
heard
didn't
a
get a
portion
chance
of it.
to hear all of it. No.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
I'm not calling to defend what the minister said,
Sure.
but we have to as Bahamians, we have to listen and understand.
Okay.
We lack equipment in this country. We know this for years. We watched every super value burn down over the years growing up. So we know we always had a deficit when it comes to the proper equipment.
Okay.
Before the minister came in.
Sure.
And I'm not defending the government's position at all.
Okay.
But we have to listen and understand. He said the fire engine responded 8 minutes afterwards.
Okay.
He did not say it took an hour to get to the Victoria building, which people claim. That may be so. But
Right.
he's saying they was on the scene 8 minutes. They may not have been on that section, but they was on the scene.
Okay.
So I think it's kind of unfair for people to say he gaslighted the BMC because he was honest. Now he did basically put not the blame, but he did say he relied on the professionals to say what equipment the government needs, and he tried to advocate to get that equipment.
Okay. So
the government falls short in a lot of areas, and we know that.
yeah.
But we have to put emotions aside. I know
All right.
emotions.
Let me ask you this question, caller.
Yeah.
You obviously listened to. No, I mean you listened to this show as well, obviously, right? So you heard us talk about the lack of fire engines in this country. Let me ask you this question: do you think 5 for New Providence is sufficient, but only 3 functioning?
No, definitely not.
Now let me ask you this question. You mentioned this before. And I know about them super value fires. I know about the I Need a Laundry fire. I know about the fires. I with you on that, brother.
Okay.
Don't you think in 2025, we as voters should have forced one administration or the other to rectify this fire department situation?
Naughty, I totally agree with you.
And don't you think based on what this administration campaigned on, they should fix the situation? I don't want to hear who didn't have us like this. I want to hear you fixing it. And I
totally agree with you. All I'm saying is I'm just clarifying what the lady said when he said the minister was gaslighting what he said. I'm saying the minister just stated the facts. He didn't. He knows that the situation is the government is.
But he stated the facts to me from what I heard, the piece I heard, and I got to listen back to it in full detail. But he sounded like he had his full, King's Counsel defense lawyer hat on.
I think
he basically. I mean, obviously,
he sounded like he was in court to me.
What he was basically saying, from what I gathered, and I listened to the whole interview, he is basically saying that he relies on the professionals to say what equipment we need, and he goes to the Ministry of Finance and he advocates on that. Now, he advocates on behalf of what the professionals say we need, the fire chiefs, and he's awaiting the Ministry of Finance to do what they have to do. But I'm not getting into the politics of it. I'm just saying the emotions of it and the common sense part of it is we have to be realistic and understand that.
I think the interesting part is he talks about the judgment that the firefighters have to make. Well, he too has to make a judgment. Let's be honest. This issue of fires and resources did not just happen with the Victoria fire. For months, I've been hearing about resource issues in Abaco, Eleuthera, Grand Bahama. This is not something that just sprung up overnight. For a while, we've known that this is a going concern. and for the minister to focus on one thing, which I'm reading. I didn't listen to the article, but I am to the talk show, but I am reading the article in the and he has, kind of focused the attention on the professionals. Well, we want more than that. We want you to be proactive. I get that you're going to have to get some response from the professionals, but the whole appeal to authority, which is that you guys don't know anything. Well, I know this. If my house is on fire and I call and it's about 10% burnt, and you come and you say to yourself, well, let's just start mitigating to make sure this doesn't spread. And by the time you're done, 2 hours later, my house is now 90 to 100% burnt. I am going to be very disappointed. And I don't think that I have to specifically say to you, well, Minister, can you talk a little bit about the lack of resources? Because that is something that is apparent on its face. And so to focus on certain things and ignore the plain thing in front of the faces of Bahamians, which is that we do not have enough resources or not enough resources were actually deployed for that particular fire, is ridiculous. And you can talk around it however you want. At the end of the day, we're very disappointed that our money is not being spent properly to make sure that our lives and our properties are also, protected. So I think that's what it comes down to.
Very good point. Very good point. And you're totally correct. But can I say something that we need to be focused and we need to be conscious about?
Sure. Go ahead.
Ministers, the way our government works,
sure,
ministers can advocate of what their particular ministry needs.
Right.
But
we know.
We need to understand how our government works. I worked along with a politician.
Sure.
Mr. Galanis, he's passed on now. But I worked along with him, and I get to understand
may he rest in
the way
peace.
the government operates.
Good man.
So what I'm saying is ministers would not come and say this. They would not lay the blame to the Minister of Finance, right?
Right.
But as a minister, you can only advocate for your ministry, what your budget needs, and it's up to the Minister of Finance and the Ministry of Finance to delegate this money for this particular thing.
Thank you.
So a lot of times ministers,
right?
They may not say this publicly, but a lot of times their hands are tied.
Well, when
they
people
take the blame, but their hands are tied.
No, I got you, caller. But this is the thing about politics: when so many persons have lost their homes, you should be coming to them saying, you know what? I could tell that we didn't have enough resources because at the end of the day, so many people lost their homes. You don't have to wait for someone to report on that. That thing is apparent on its face, and he should come to the Bahamian people and say, listen, I'm working hard. I'm going to make sure as best as I can this doesn't happen to anyone else. We have to take a break right now. We're up against a hard break. We have the news coming up as well as Cuban Willie's numerology report. On the other side, we've got lots more talking heads. If you've got a shout out for your mom, be sure to call us in. We've got Pearlie, who's going to be talking a little bit of sports, of course, in the 5 o'clock hour. You guys keep it locked in. You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and yours truly, MJ, right here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
From my head straight down to my feet, I'm she good drum and the soul Lord the ring so sweet. Oh, by later that evening, all I drink had me feeling fine. And when I reach the rig and scrape that's what love.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Feeling lucky? Here's Cuban Willie's numerology report. Brought to you by the Island Game.
Wepa, soy yo, Cuban Willie, and it's Friday. It's the weekend, baby. Party time. I got the 3-ball and the 4-ball special for you today. The double whammy slammy. 792 is the 3-ball. 792, 792. And the 4-ball, 2288. 2288. Play them and win with the Island Game. Stay winning, my friend.
Turn up the heat and the flavor with the new Jalapeno Fire from KFC. Crunch into the iconic taste original recipe, extra large filet that's made with KFC's secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices cooked to perfection. Stacked high with spicy jalapeno peppers, pepper jack cheese, and our cool but kickin' jalapeno sauce, all wrapped up in a soft toasted brioche bun. Go bolder and crank up the heat with our spicy zinger filet. The new Jalapeno Fire is bringing the heat and it's finger-licking good.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Make this Mother's Day extra special with Kelly's House and Homes Mother's Day sale Friday, May 2nd through Saturday, May 10th. Enjoy 20% off a beautiful selection of dinnerware, glassware, luggage, silk flowers, and picture frames, except on net items. These are all perfect and stylish gifts to show Mom just how much she's loved. Hurry in and take advantage of Kelly's House and Homes 20% off Mother's Day sale Friday, May 2nd through Saturday, May 10th. Happy Mother's Day, all with love from Kelly's House and Home.
Since 1989, Joker's Wild Comedy Club has been the heart of laughter, and an era is coming to a close. Join us May 20th to the 25th for the final shows with your headliner for the evening.
For my guy, comedian Tommy Davidson.
Joker's Wild Comedy Club has hosted world-class comedians from the early days of Steve Harvey and legends like Jay Leno and Damon Wayans. Joker's Wild has been more than just a comedy club. It's been a home for laughter and creativity.
We gotta start loving each other. Stop it. We stereotype too. Black people, white people can't dance. White people dance their ass off, just different.
Tommy Davidson, along with featured comedian Kirk Green and house comedian Naughty. Don't miss your last chance to experience the magic. May 20th to the 25th, Joker's Wild Comedy Club. Admission $50. Get your tickets now at Atlantis, Bahamas /events. Come enjoy and relive the laughter at Joker's Wild Comedy Club.
Been off the WSC grid for over a year? Now's the time to come back and save big. For a limited time only, the Water and Sewage Corporation is offering up to 50% off reconnection fees for customers disconnected for more than 1 year. Don't miss this chance to reconnect and enjoy reliable, quality water service at a discounted rate. Call 302-5599 to learn more. Water and Sewage Corporation, dedicated to dependable, affordable water solutions.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. 96.9 FM.
I care less what workers of iniquity. Rastafari, it's my security. Chillin', and I'ma go.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by Burger King, City of Hope, Five Threads, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, Kelly's Home Center, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, NRG Nutrition, Persisam Games, Pindertal, Prince Masters, Sandcastle Bahamas, Tropical Gyros, and the Water and Sewage Corporation.
Walk with me, talk to me, show me the thoughts and them hearts.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 9th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. We're going to take this over a little bit into the 5 o'clock. We'll talk some sports too before we get out of here. But let me get to the text lines and get these out of the way. Then we'll get to the calls right away. Callers, I see you. Just give us 2 seconds. We'll be right there. Here we go. Naughty and MJ, the different, why the government of the Bahamas still letting the U.S. dictate to them? Ain't no way in the world the Cuban government will allow the Bahamas government to give the nurses from Cuba that paycheck without the Cuban government receiving a portion of it. Tell Brave Stop.
They're negotiating all of that, right? I mean, there's some legitimate questions. There's a lot of questions surrounding that situation, but we'll give them time to negotiate and see what they eventually bring back to the Bahamian people as a way of an explanation of what's going to happen next.
Fix the seawall by the Go Slow Band. It's a bad eyesore for the tourists.
It looks terrible. Bad eyesore for us, too, because I tired of seeing it.
They're waiting on the wall to receive more damage so a multi-million-dollar contract can be issued to a crony. I look like one been issued to a crony now. Ain't doing no work. Naughty, you can't park fire trucks at Cable Beach because the space is reserved for all of the PM's vehicles.
I saw one of his older, well, I don't know if that's operational, but there's definitely a car there with the PM plate on it. So, yeah, I got your point there, Texter.
Every day I pass the repairs to the wall, I am reminded that I don't live in a real place. That area is a site where tourists take pictures from.
Yeah, used to. It looks terrible right now.
The Cayman Islands Fire Service is dedicated to protecting life, property, and the environment across Grand Cayman and Little Cayman. Naughty, see what Cayman is doing? All right, I see the link, and I'll check it out. Pintard is on the right track. I agree with a separate fire brigade. I really, really do.
And you, like in some places, they teamed out with the EMS and so forth and so on. Or at least they work closely. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that, you know. Got to test some of the things working better because obviously.
The blood drinkers will continue to drink blood. What is concerning is that one of the accused officers is actually a neighbor to the man that they killed. He was also seen in the hospital in plain clothes after the same young man was shot in 2019. His mom said he was terrified of the officer and told her that they wanted him on a T-shirt. It's all in the papers. These cops need to be investigated, Naughty.
You do still have outstanding questions with respect to the...
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Naughty, sometimes you need to let your better half moonlight. Candia sure could have used MJ yesterday.
I'm sorry, guys, I didn't. I was in a meeting. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. But based on the article that's in The Guardian, it sounds like, yeah. And I mean, maybe, some people take offense to the term gaslighting, but when you're talking about something and you're being pedantic on a point and using semantics to get out of an argument, when as a politician reporting and a minister, no less, reporting to people in plain language, we ain't trying to hear all that.
Them fancy words.
How you can fix the problem? We
Let's
got
go
some
to the
callers
phone
on the
lines.
line.
Talking heads.
Hey, callers.
That's me, right?
That's you, Talking Heads.
Good afternoon, good evening, Naughty, and good afternoon, MJ.
Good afternoon.
What's going on, Papa?
Hey, Papa.
Rachel holding on, Naughty, Rachel holding on. Thank God for life.
All the time.
Yeah, that word which you use in gaslighting, I know of it. I mean, I know what lighting is and stuff like that, but I think I kind of should, we kind of should understand what gaslighting is. But is that the same thing like BSing?
Yeah.
That's BS, cousin.
What?
It's
listen,
yeah.
But the word what they use, condescending, I mightn't be pronouncing it right.
Yeah, no, you're pronouncing it correctly.
Is that a part how you say you all ain't listened to it, but
I
it
did not.
sound weird to me, like he wasn't taking no responsibilities.
Oh, okay.
And being diplomatic with big words, but you could understand everything he was saying.
Right.
You see, he was using big words. What would the word, would they say, is it adamant?
Yeah, adamant, yes.
He sound like all of them things to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, Papa, real quick.
I gotta listen.
The Minister of National Security is do a little bit of investigation.
Right.
What we really want, different from the fire engines, helicopter, and ambulance, them and stuff, right?
Right.
And we know the government can't do everything.
Not all at once. Not
and
all
one,
at
right?
once,
But
right.
things what we need is time to put us voice, like I said before. The PP, the private partnership thing, what they be doing, like with the web shop owners and others.
Okay.
Let's go to the people. They say the Creative Alliance. The scammers must get $50 million from us, right? So I send money in this town. So
Right.
maybe if the government can get the money, the Bahamian people who get the money could invest. Just
Right.
like places managing it, and we got to pay them millions of dollars every year.
Right.
Yeah, let's get these things what we really need, like helicopters and fire engines. But what I want the minister to do is do a thorough investigation, because what's on the Bahamian people's mind is that what's going on in America with the police officers embarrassing this country. We want him to investigation.
Right.
The indictment. We
Up
want
there
him
in
to
the
do
Southern
investigation and find out
District of New
who's
York.
this government official. Find out from us who's this, because he's a smart man. He's a lawyer, and he's the minister of national security. He looked like he good with BSing and gaslighting. So tell us, who's this high? Do some investigation and find out. Because the prime minister ain't telling us nothing. He looked like he knows some things, but he ain't telling us. All he tell us the last thing is it seems like it's entrapment.
Right.
Y'all keep up the good work. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks so much. You have a
All
great
right.
weekend too, Papa.
There you go. Gaslight, Papa, just so you know. It's a verb, all right? And it's to manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning.
Yeah.
So, like, when I tell you all the Dallas Cowboys could win the Super Bowl, I am gaslighting the heck out of Cowboy fans because we know it ain't happening, but I'm trying.
When you tell them they can win and then they don't win, and you come back and you're like, well, you never said that they were going to win. You said they could win, you know?
There's a possibility they're going to win the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
well, gaslight
Maybe on
them.
PlayStation. I said that.
Yep, there you go.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
We don't hate you. You're just naughty by nature.
What's going on, GNN?
Hey, GNN.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Protocol first, naughty. Before I run out on you, protocol.
Yes, sir.
All the leading women on Guardian Radio. Mary J., have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Thank you so much.
Laverne, DeQuesta, and Ms. Cartwright, y'all have a wonderful Mother's Day. Now, naughty, your time. I won't get mad with you, but I can't get mad with you because you're a comedian.
So careful. Go ahead.
Listen, when them fellas called trying to defend Wayne Monroe, KC, where is the KC? I know what that fella was, because he's definitely in OKC. Cut them off, man. Talking nonsense. Cut them.
But everybody's a talking head, man. Let's show go talking heads. You ain't got to agree with the head saying.
Yeah, but you talking head in going into news, man. We got to get in. Rather than fellas calling defending Wayne Monroe. Who's the KC? He ain't need no defense. And I like what Dwight did with one this morning. Dwight said, man, yesterday, I can't take no more. Just click.
I think
Let's do that now. You know I'm good for that too.
In all fairness, though, GNN, we hadn't heard the full thing, so it's good to get other person's perspective. You know, in all fairness, we do need to listen to other points of view. Hey,
Mary Jane,
sure.
Listen to nonsense there.
Mm.
If a plane crash, God forbid,
right,
you could send the service to look around the perimeter of the plane crash before you go direct to the source, so you can save lives in case save this. Stop that out the plane from lighting the thing. You going around.
Exactly. No, you're right.
That makes sense.
What I was saying, it doesn't. It just. It's if you have enough resources, you deal with the main problem and you handle the mitigation in the surrounding area. But to say, oh, we mitigated and the place then practically burned down, that sounds crazy to Bahamians.
Mary J, that is nonsense. What the minister was saying. You normally go to the source and then you find out.
Yeah.
You don't find out and come in. Nonsense. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend,
man. Be safe.
Thanks, GNN.
Let's get to these texts now real quick. Boy, we got more texts. And these fired right up.
No pun intended, right?
There you go. Naughty, the blood drinkers will continue to drink blood.
I think you read that already. Did they send that a second time? We got to the first
and
time.
That's the second time, too.
Oh, wow.
Naughty, Mr. Monroe has not answered Candia yet. But you're all sending me plenty of things that I can't look at on there. I appreciate you sending me these links, but my man, MJ can't look at these
different
links.
fire departments?
No, the definition of gaslighting. I think we all get it.
Yeah.
But my COI crew, but y'all really on it today, boy. Y'all texting him like a mug. Naughty, is Papa really a PLP? No, but the question is, you should ask you. Don't say nothing against Mr. Davis. All he's doing is attack Mr. Pintard. So you should really ask him if he's a PLP or not. Don't worry, but Papa. That's all I got to say on that one. But good try, though. Keep them coming. Whee! But my whole thing about it is, I don't buy into the whole, all right, look, I got a text here right now. I wanted to go back to it. Here's a new one. Hello, happy Mother's Day to MJ and all the mothers on Guardian Radio. I was trying to call but couldn't get through. Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you.
We appreciate the sentiment. And MJ appreciates the sentiment.
Yes. And same to, if you're celebrating Mother's Day this weekend, same to you.
Let's get to this call. Talking Heads.
Naughty, GNN 2 seconds.
Go ahead, bro.
GNN says, when you gaslight, that's an American word see Alan bring. Grammy say, when you do the things like what the minister did yesterday, stop lying. Don't lie to me, boy. That's what that means. Stop lying. Thanks.
Have a great weekend, GNN.
All right. Naughty and MJ, the timeline from the police commissioner indicated that the fire response started after 8:30 p.m. It's on Guardian Radio News audio tape. A resident said she called from 7:45 p.m. That's an hour at least.
Okay.
For his 7 minutes response time assessment, is Wayne Monroe talking about a policeman walking to the side and looking at the fire, hands akimbo? I don't know, but that timeline right there, I could 45 until about 9:05. It took me to get down Elizabeth Avenue, which hadn't been closed off yet, and the fire was there. There were no fire trucks that I could see. There was no change into the traffic like they did further up on Parliament Street when the fire really took hold. So at that point in time, there was no response. I was told there was a fire ahead by water and sewage workers who were still working further down on Bay Street that hadn't affected the fire. They were in the entire left lane.
There may have been
in the right lane. The left lane was flowing.
There may have been a fire truck there that you didn't see. I mean, I'm just saying. But as for the fire itself at Victoria, and I hate parsing it like this because I get the impression from the article that is what happened yesterday with the minister. The point is this, though. If I call and I say this place is on fire, I get you're going to look to make sure that it doesn't spread. That is actually sensible. We all agree with that. But if you don't visit the actual place, the residents, it's in business now. So residents, where people live, if you don't visit that and immediately make an assessment about Are there possibly people still stuck in the bin? You know, is there an elderly person there that may need assistance? If people don't see you on the site where the fire is actually blazing, of course they're going to be upset. And you could defend your actions and say, yes, we were making sure it didn't spread to this place and that place. The hospital is very important. But how do you not go on the scene, be seen, make a quick assessment? Even if you determine, you know what, this building will burn. This could burn. We will not be able to stop this. You still have to check to make sure no one's in the building, make sure no one needs your assistance on the scene, because, you know, it may be a situation where you need some EMT assistance as well. Come on. I mean, for the minister not to for someone to have to say that to him and for him to just deflect or appeal to authority or leave it to the professionals and y'all aren't professionals, so y'all can't say anything about it, is not what we want in a leader, particularly one tasked with the ministry that we want to see grow and evolve and become more responsive to Bahamian people. It just, you know, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
All right, we got one more. Naughty, Aram Lewis was Speaker of the House 2 days ago. Yeah, because Minister Cornish had to go party. He had to go pee-pee.
I don't think he's a minister, Mr. Cornish.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
From Abaco?
He's not a minister. Minister of what?
MP, sorry, not minister.
Okay.
MP Cornish. My bad. MP Cornish.
You know, because they like to be precise.
Right, my fault.
Yeah.
Member of Parliament for Abaco. I think it's North Abaco.
Yeah, I believe so.
One of the two Abaco seats, or the Speaker of the House. See, you go,
the other
Madam
Abaco
Speaker.
Is
then it goes Mr. Sylvanus
Petty.
Mr. Petty is number 2. He's the backup speaker. Then Mr. Cornish is the third string speaker.
I always thought Leslie Bryce was the third person.
Well,
Has
maybe,
that
and then
changed?
Mr. Cornish is number 4.
Yeah, okay.
So
we got down
Mr.
to
Lewis
5
got there
today?
because everybody else wasn't there, or Mr. Cornish had a bathroom break and he had to go party, so they got to grab somebody to sit there. So if not, make history. Was it effective? Did he know what he was doing? Did it mean or change anything in the 2.5 minutes he sat there? No. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. Zero. But y'all see how I keep swinging. Keep swinging. Keep swinging.
There's nothing wrong with some, you know, ambition.
You know what?
anyway.
I love it. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking heads.
Hello, North Carolina Connection here.
Hey, North Carolina. Happy Mother's Day weekend.
Happy Mother's Day, ma'am. You know I had to keep calling. I was calling on.
Oh,
and
wow.
I said, guess what? I could spend my little couple of dollars
Oh,
just
Lord.
to say Happy Mother's Day to MJ.
Same to you, North Carolina.
All of the mothers on Garden Radio. I know it's DeQuesta and Laverne and I don't know if Scott Rader's mom. But anyway, I said to persons, if you are a mother figure, you're still a mother. And
Absolutely.
I know sometimes people don't say it to me because I haven't birthed a child, but I have about 20 godchildren.
Oh, God
and
bless you.
Nieces
Oh,
and
wow.
nephews and all of that. So
Wow. So, yes.
But happy Mother's Day to you. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. I know Naughty got a lot of stuff in store for you on Sunday, so I think
Total
we can have some more
pamperation.
next week.
Thank you so much. And you have a great weekend. Thanks for calling
I
us.
want to say to my mama again, Madeline Sherlyn Murphy, I love you, I love you, I love you. You are awesome. You are the greatest mother ever. Y'all take care.
Good stuff.
There you
Good
go.
stuff.
Thanks, North
NC.
Carolina. Good stuff in the house. And let's go back to the phone lines. Talking heads. Talking heads.
Yes, good afternoon or good evening to you, Naughty and MJ.
Good afternoon.
I would love to say, enjoy your Mother's Day. We are very impressed with you. We are hoping to see you do bigger and better things in this country.
Okay.
They're talking to you, MJ.
Okay,
I'm no mother.
I try to figure out.
You can call me a mother, but no, right.
Yeah, because he's a kind of mother too, but we can't say that word on the radio.
Okay. Now, Naughty, can you hear me, Naughty?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You all here from Philly today?
If I hear from Philly today?
No.
But you see, you around here, boy, you like entertainment. No, we haven't heard from Philly.
Philly, no, y'all gonna be tracking his voice, boy.
You might have conjured him up. He might call in now.
Okay, I'll listen.
Have a great weekend. Have a great and happy Mother's Day to you too. Oh
Thank
my God. Oh yeah, Philly get itself in a real jam. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
People listening to that voice, let's try to figure out who Philly is. Philly, if you know it's good for you, don't do it.
There's no need to pause. The police commissioner gave a sober timeline. You know, she talks slow and clear. She went from call received to arrival to calling water WSC to move equipment to response. It's on guard. That's fine. I don't care what's on Guardian News. I sat there and saw it. With all due respect, I don't care what the commissioner's saying. I know what I saw.
There's something about...
So don't gaslight me, Dexter, by telling me I didn't see what I saw.
I think that's
when they were turning me off, my two big goggle eye, like I always like to investigate everything from accidents to people fighting on the side of the road, the car breakdown. No fire truck was there. Now, possibly 8:55ish, 9 o'clock-ish, when I turned up and it might have come in, I didn't hear no siren. I didn't see none.
Right.
I'm not saying that they didn't respond in 8 minutes and say, hey, control, there's a fire on Bay Street. We know about it.
Yeah.
That's now knowing about it. Responding is putting hose and water to fire.
Well, maybe, but...
And then surrounding buildings to protect them.
I think when you say respond, it could actually be they began the whatever time after. But I think all of this is just...
Why don't we do that?
I don't even think we need to get into the weeds about
it. It wasn't an 8-minute response and it wasn't a 2-hour delay. Somewhere in between, which was a hell of a long time.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. And that's why it took that long.
I don't think we need to parse all of this, because they could have been on the scene at 8 minutes after. No, I mean, I am not going to put like my dad used to say, put my head on the chopping block.
Don't do that.
But the point of it is, and I think this is more important, we're now arguing about the response time. The response itself is where the problem is. People say that they called and they didn't see a fire engine respond to their particular fire. I know it was a general fire, but the fire at Victoria Gardens.
Correct.
In an acceptable time for them. So no matter how you break it down, yes, they may have been on the scene. Yes, they're professionals. Yes, they made the assessment that we got to make sure this doesn't spread. The hospital's nearby. That is, of course, something that we think is important. But
I'm glad they did that when they got there, but it's just when they got there.
Had we had sufficient resources appropriate for what happened the other night, then you could have been dealing with the fire itself while handling the mitigating issues about preventing it from spreading to the other buildings. How hard is that? Like, can we agree that is the least that we expect? We shouldn't even be arguing over this point, to be quite honest with you. We shouldn't, because we expect more. And in this country these days, we should have gotten more.
Naughty and MJ, maybe regarding the truth about when the fire service arrived, maybe this isn't the time to test. Maybe this is the time to test the effectiveness of the policemen's body cams. Good point. The cops out there with the body cam, they should have it on. It's the time. Yeah, good stuff. Naughty, please say Happy Mother's Day to your wife, MJ, and all other mothers on 96.9. You should ask MJ to speak to mothers and wives how it is. A joy.
A joy to what?
To serve your husband and children.
You did what? Say what? Say who? Say how? What? Where?
You know.
Yeah. I know who sent that text then. I shall refrain for the moment. Texter, you're messing up my weekend.
Texter, no, I know we're agreeing on the timeline of the commission. I'm not going at you. I'm just saying in general.
But I mean, the idea of when they responded and when they arrived at the particular fire at Victoria Gardens, to me, it doesn't seem like they're diametrically opposed. The two things could have happened. But what should have happened was that you had more trucks respond so that you could deal with more than one particular issue. Fires can get complicated really quickly. More trucks on the scene, y'all trying to tell me that wouldn't have produced a different result? Really? Okay.
Now, when you get there, you got hot trucks on the scene, but did they have water? Did they have pumps? Were the hoses working? Was the pressure? When last you see a pump on Bay Street, MJ?
I haven't noticed particularly.
Next time, let's take a ride. Let's
you say pumps. What do you
fire hydrants?
Your hydrants, then.
Hydrants. My bad.
Okay, well, hydrants.
My fault. Fire hydrants, better known in Bahamian vernacular as fire pumps.
I'm just hoping, to be honest with you, because it feels like we could go on.
When last have we seen one?
I haven't noticed. I'll be honest. I have not noticed particularly. Will I look now? Of course I will, because now everybody needs to put eyes on this situation. My thing, though, is we just have to figure out the solutions quickly. quick with some kind of speed, because these fires seem to be popping up quite regularly these days, and some of them are very devastating. It's not just happening here in the capital.
No.
Also in Grand Bahama. Like Abaco. Eleuthero has had some issues as well. We need to get some solutions
Andros.
quickly. Now, I did hear mention that we were buying some new trucks or some new equipment.
They've been they to be sourced and ordered, and I just went to a place right there in South Florida that has the vehicles ready to go. If you want them with a certain faucet on, you can have it applied if it's not on there already. If you don't want it, you can have it removed. You have pumper trucks, you have ladder trucks, you have mid-sized fire trucks for immediate response. You have the bigger ones to deal with airport crash and boat crash and tanker crashes and oil spills, so on and so forth. There's a variation of them, and there's also ambulances and also other firefighting vehicles that are of a smaller variety to deal with bushfires, like what they would use in Abaco, all-terrain vehicles to get out there with a hose, a gun on the back with the pumps with it that can actually do damage to the fire. Well, put the fire out.
Yeah.
So there's a myriad of options that you could go on there. And obviously, it may take months to get them delivered, but if you're going to order 20 or 30, then you get the first 5 done, you get them here. You get the next 5 done, you get them here. And get them in as fast as you can. Yeah. Obviously, you're dealing with something that's urgent.
Keep us updated, you know? Keep the public updated. That's a basic thing we expect.
You know, and we have to know what is our assets, meaning provided by the government or the administration of the day, and what has come from private entities and donations. And props to Abaco for securing all what they have. Abaco got more operable fire engines and fire trucks than we do here in New Providence. Real talk.
Leveled up since they've been dealing with these fires, right? Mm-hmm. Leveled up.
Anyhow, quick break, flip side of the break. We'll be back at you. Your boy Naughty along with Mary Jane in your company right up until 6 p.m. We'll talk a little more headlines and then we'll get into sports. All coming up on the flip side of the break as the Friday, May 9th edition of Talking Heads continues right after this.
Keep my fire from demons. Keep my fire from Satan. More time I can't believe. Feel for grief.
Here's a price list of some of the roofing material we carry at Pinda Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68. Gray Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, 15 pounds, $16.50. 30 pound, $19.80. Owens, Corning Duration Shingles, and CertainTeed Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon of roof cement, $33.47. All sizes treated dimensional lumber. And of course, we have all nails and all screws. We have 5/8 sheetrock, $28.76. Half-inch sheetrock, $22.18. All prices include VAT.
Turn up the heat and the flavor with the new Jalapeno Fire from KFC. Crunch into the iconic taste of KFC's original recipe, extra large filet that's made with KFC's secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices cooked to perfection. Stacked high with spicy jalapeno peppers, pepper jack cheese, and our cool but kickin' jalapeno sauce, all wrapped up in a soft toasted brioche bun. Go bolder and crank up the heat with our spicy zinger filet. The new Jalapeno Fire is bringing the heat and it's finger-licking good.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. Your collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
Wake up, Bahamas. Join the Zonta Club of Nassau's second annual We Are Family Fun Run, Walk, and Push on Saturday, May 17th from 6 a.m. at the Montague Foreshore. Push a stroller, walk with grandma, or sprint. Just move with us. The first 100 finishers will receive a medal. Stick around for health screenings and wellness sessions. Every dollar supports PACE and the Bahamas AIDS Foundation, along with our youth programs. Registration for groups of 10 is $25 each. Single adults, $30. Kids under 13, 10 plus. Everyone that registers gets a goodie bag and t-shirt. Call us today at 807-3021 or email zontaclubofnassau@hotmail.com. See you at the Montague Foreshore on May 17th at 6 a.m.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. On radio, 90.9 FM.
I care less what workers of iniquity. Rastafari, it's my security. Chimney, And I'm going out and coming in. Never leave by Jaja. Keep it far from vampires. And I'm going out and coming in.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 9th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy, Naughty Law, Mary Jane, and your company right up until 6 p.m. Time right now is 5:38 p.m. Let's check the gas tracker real quick. Rubis 555, Esso 555, Shell 546. 9 cent difference. You're on to something now, boy. Tell you. 9 cent difference. I like that. I like it. I always remember that Cat Williams joke. Remember, you could go to the gas station at $20. She'd give me 10. Let me get some chips. Let me get a soda. Let me get this. Let me get a chocolate bar. You can't do that no more.
No.
You can't stretch that 20.
I mean, this is gonna sound crazy
You
to a
give
lot
them
of people.
20, now you got to drop, and that's it.
You remember you could like put $5 gas in and
Stop
not feel
it.
no type of way about it. Like there was a time.
You remember 5 on 8,
5 on 8,
6,
exactly.
5 on
And
2,
you weren't
5
feeling,
on 2.
You weren't feeling it because you got a good bit of gas for that.
This
You know
feeling
what I
juicy,
mean?
man. Give me 10. Give me 10.
Used to
Stop
be the
it.
big thing.
But always
Now.
$10 in the bite. What you
Now.
mean? Back in the day, somebody give you $5 for gas money. Everything cool, you know.
That was meaningful.
Somebody give you $10, things good. Somebody give you $5 now for gas, they get slapped.
Like full tank at 20. Come on.
Pie, screamer. Sorry.
Back in the day.
20.
Back in the day.
My God, 20, man. You put in 20 and you could roll with me for a little while, too. That's
Understand? Thankful, and you got get snacks. You know what I mean?
how you mean?
Aye.
20, boy. 20 used to
Those were
get
the
you plenty back in the
days.
day. Not now.
Those were the days.
20 get you. Ding, ding. Hang it up.
Like not even a
That's
minute in there, not even 10 seconds.
Not even 10 seconds. I don't even stay in there long. I just be in and be
That's a
out.
quickie, yeah.
Naughty and MJ, my grandma used to purchase $3 worth of gas, and she paid them in quarters, and that was a lot of gas
It
back
was.
then.
No,
This
it
was
was.
in the 80s. Yes, I agree. In the 80s, back in the day, for sure.
Yeah, I remember that.
But in the 80s, you
Five.
put $20 gas in the 80s, but your car full.
$5 high test. You remember that? Like
High test.
High test. Okay.
That's a Freeport thing.
That's a Freeport thing.
High test.
Yes, $5 high test.
I mean, no, it's regular.
I
And
didn't.
something else, and regular, unleaded, and diesel. That's
There you
it.
go. Yeah, we had high tests in there.
Don't pull up
Freeport
on the
back in
diesel
day.
pump and don't say nothing. You could mess yourself right up.
Oh, the times have changed.
Here was another one, man, that I saw that jumped out. Government signs heads of agreement for first next generation meteorological watch office in the Caribbean. Bless you. Agreement estimated to bring in $427 million in investment over 3 years.
So the return on the investment is 400 and something over 3 years?
Boy, and let's see where it's going.
I have to catch up on that.
The government of Bahamas has signed a heads of agreement with the Bahamas Aviation, Climate, and Severe Weather Network, which is estimated to bring in $427 million in investment over 3 years. Michael Strong, financial advisor for BACSWN, said that the signing on Wednesday at the OPM today marks a historic signing of this heads-up agreement between BACSWN and the government of the Bahamas, signaling the beginning of a $427 million investment by BACSWN that will see the establishment of the first next-gen meteorological in the Caribbean. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we could see that agreement, like we've been requesting to see the other agreements, we could dive a little deeper and see exactly
Exactly
you know,
all
what's
that's
happening.
going on.
Anything that moves us along technologically.
And is this where our flyover airspace money is going to be managed and handled?
Anything that moves us along is, you know.
I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, for
Branching
sure.
out from the media into meteorology. What do you,
They kind of rhyme.
meteorology. Meteorology. There you go.
Now say that 3 times quickly.
No.
Yeah.
Now I see why they take pictures in the OPM with a family pet. Jokes. All right, so let's keep it moving. No, but I want to keep my eye on that because at the end of the day, though, we do have an airspace that is traversed by a multitude of airlines. And
That could bring in
mucho
natural
Wanakiki.
resource.
So if they could do a good job managing it and bringing it in, more props to them. But let's make sure we see it at the
I
end
think
of the
with
day.
all of these things, right? Like, you know, actually criticizing the deals necessarily because you don't see the fine print, but that's the problem. Like, show us some of the details of these deals. You're
Freedom of
committing
Information Act, Procurement Act.
You're committing our treasure, hundreds of millions of dollars in our treasure. You're committing time.
That's $427 million.
You're tying our hands. You're tying our kids' hands. In some of these cases, in some of these deals, look like you're trying to tie our grandchildren's hands as well. All we ask for as, Bahamians, as your bosses, is to just show us the details. It's not only necessary for you to get some input from the public on some of these decisions, but it's also important that we're all aware of the whys of these things. Why is this thing happening? How will it benefit us? And I feel like if you're making a good deal, you should be quite willing to put that deal.
I think we do, if it's implemented properly and the money spent well, it could be beneficial, especially with the flyover airspace. But like you say, we need to know exactly where it's going. Because that's a chunk of change right there. Over 3 years.
All of these deals, especially when you're losing national assets and you're selling off 60% of this and being left with 40% of this, you just give us the details. I don't think that's
Naughty and MJ, what happened to SpaceX?
I think that's on pause, right? I think that's the last thing I heard from the Deputy Prime Minister.
$183 million deal for roadworks in Grand Bahama is on pause. I think SpaceX is on pause too.
I think eventually this SpaceX, the launches, those will resume. But, we have to have a better deal because from where they launched their Starship, and they've had issues with a couple of these launches, the last few, I think we definitely need to make a better deal for Bahamians. We actually have a situation where many Bahamians don't even want this happening. And it seems that there's a lot of hypocrisy in this particular administration when you talk so much about climate change, but you allow, all of this pollution to happen. Once again, show us the details. Maybe we could make it make sense. Maybe we could figure out ways where it's mutually beneficial with the least amount of risk for Bahamians. And then I don't think people would be necessarily opposed to that. We like growth, not if they're going to hurt us in the long term and you're just thinking about the short term. And when I think of those little cruise islands, all those, that comes to mind.
I don't think that's going to be a benefit to us long term. I think that's not going to be beneficial to us.
So lots of things that you could do.
Because we're not getting the impactful heads in beds that we should get with overnight tourists. But also, if you're going to do these private island things, institute the law, make it the law that they got to pay work permit for every staff that goes. If you got 150 coming off to work that island, then we need 150. And you could work on maybe you could give them a better rate, but make sure that every week that is there, you are charging them for work permits. Because they're doing jobs Bahamians can do.
I'm just disappointed with the whole setup with these cruise ship
Because if we're not going to be put into the game and allowed to have stores and make a living, then at least give us a part of put us in the game.
I'm just disappointed. And it feels that successive administrations have been very myopic on this. They've seen the short-term benefits, but they're not looking long-term, whereas some of these cruise lines are planning very long-term. That's why they could do certain things. I say they'll do certain things right now, but in the long run, they'll benefit more. At the end of the day, I'm sure there are great explanations for why we needed all of these. I think it's too many, way too many in this one little country. Way too many of these cruise private keys, private little spaces, all of that stuff. It's just too much. Me, as a principal, I just feel like we should have never sold the beaches. That's just the principle that I have as a Bahamian. Now, I'm sure I could be convinced as to why it may make sense on paper, but I maintain that long term, we are going to regret the way that we structured so many of these deals and the fact that we allowed such a proliferation. There's no reason. We're the only country in the world that has so many of them. It's like they found a donkey, and now they're basically just riding it into the ground. That's how I feel, based on the research that I've done so far.
At some point, though, we have to look at these entities coming in, and we have to see how beneficial long-term they are. Are they really beneficial? Are they going to help us generationally? Or are they going to help certain families generationally, as in generational wealth? We need to share it to the Bahamians. It needs to be, it's ours. So we need to feel the positive effects from it.
Yeah.
And far too long, we've seen entities come in, like the whole Xanadu Beach situation. Great. I'm glad a cruise line is taking it over and going to purchase it. But why not have talks of a hotel that employs Bahamians. Bahamians being employed at that water park or whatever they put up there. It's an entertainment center, but what does it say? Is it going to be open for Grand Bahamians? Are they going to be a part of?
Just based on the way that we're looking at it, just based on the way that some other countries have dealt with these situations, we'd get a lot of pushback because it's always, the jobs, which are very important. We do agree on that. But, the ownership is a tricky business. You have a country and you're in the tourism business and they're in the tourism business, and it kind of looks like it's a hand-in-hand relationship, and really it's a their hand taking more out of your hand kind of relationship. And I just feel like the political class in this country has just been going along with whenever the original plans came about, they see the sense in that, and they just refuse to change or at least mitigate the amount of these cruise outposts or whatever you want to call them.
Good day, Naughty and MJ. Tell me, any word on the buyer of the hotel?
The Freeport?
And what is going on with the airport in Freeport? I think MP Fred or the PM from Abaco should
PM from Abaco. Oh, okay.
Lord.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not much happening there as far as I know.
Real quick, though, speaking of, I always carry my favorite silly septuagenarian to task. And I'd just like to say, get well soon to Fox Hill MP and Minister of Affairs and Foreign Affairs, Mr. Fred Mitchell.
He's not well?
Apparently, he broke a bone again.
Oh, my goodness.
And the doctors he did it 6 to 8 weeks in a boot and crutches. He had a different break before in 2018. I mean, Mr. Mitchell got all kind of broken bones.
Is he back home yet, or is he?
He says he's back on both feet.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully he'll be back on his. No, he says hopefully I'll be back on my feet for the Glendish Road Race in Bimini in August. This is a real nuisance. Thanks to the excellent healthcare doctors Williams and Warner at home, and Doctors Seymour and Bowe. Look forward to flying home. The photo is in front of Joseph N. France General Hospital. Thank you, St. Kitts. In all things, give thanks. So, Mr. Mitchell, I want you to get well. I want you at 100% when I mash your corn. I don't want mash your corn with a broken foot. And I go, yeah. But get well soon, all right?
Hopefully he gets well.
At some point,
broken bones, they take longer to heal when you're older.
Too, yeah. So maybe this, God telling you, hop on into retirement.
Slow down.
Yeah. But just doing insane Kitts, though. Anyway, we'll pick that up in your home. Once I know you're home, and you can never take a joke. But yeah, we'll pick that up when you get back home. Get well soon, Mr. Mitchell. All right, so with that being said, MJ, we got a couple more texts we need to deal with. I think, though, text this, y'all stop it. Naughty, don't forget that Mr. Craig Flowers was there and said a fire engine had to come from the airport.
Right, that's
more, again, what's going on with the airport. Fire engines, are they being, moved off? Obviously, the airport ones, the green ones that are on the runway that deal with specifically for crashed airlines, I get that. But there is one out there at that station that is out there for Mount Pleasant, Lyford Key, Charlottesville, so on and so forth, Albany, or is that one that goes in limbo? Because if that one goes in limbo, that's a heck of a long way to go in limbo from.
Yeah, I just think we need more resources. I mean, I think that's the bottom line. And the fact that they're moving to bring in more equipment speaks to that being the reality. So just acknowledge, we wish we had more resources. We could have done more. Obviously, at the moment, the professionals made the assessment that preventing it from spreading was more important. And of course, it's led to, a loss of homes for many Bahamians, which we regret. We're working on it. We're going to do better. We don't want to see this happen again. That's all you have to say to your constituents. You don't have to browbeat them about with time and get into, a myopic argument about time, because at this point we don't care. Just do better.
Here we go. Let me get these last couple of texts in here. Naughty, very important question. Who is the best and your favorite? Jay Leno, David Letterman. Wow.
Ooh,
out of those four, since you penciled me into a box picking those four, it's a tie between Letterman, because I grew up on Letterman, and I think Dave was mad funny in his own right, as old school getting me up there, and then new school, Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy gets it too. So I like Jimmy in his own way.
If I had to pick, I would pick David Letterman just because he's so dry with it, but very like funny in his own right.
Right. Stern, look, from a radio standpoint and shock radio and all of that, he's in a league of his
King
own.
of shock radio.
And Jay Leno, I'll be honest with you, man, I was never a fan of Moon Man. And we call him Moon Man in the industry because look at his face. The chin, yeah, but he was brilliant in his own right. And if you like him and you get him,
they're all talented.
I'm not mad at you for liking Leno, but out of that list of four, I would have to say growing up and early influence would be David Letterman, watching that as a kid and watching him as a young adult and enjoying him. And again, they said his dry wit and humor and highbrow, very, very good. And then Jimmy Kimmel was more street, more edgy, embraced hip-hop, added some more things to it, had some flavor to it. So, yeah, those are my two out of these two, if you ask me to pick two. All right? And the last one, good afternoon, Naughty. Question, why is it every time something happens to one of them, they fly off to the doctor? That says a lot about the doctors. I don't know if Mr. Mitchell flew off. Maybe he was on a visit and got injured.
Yeah, it sounds
That's
like
what
he
I think.
was away when
had an accident. So.
when it happened. Yes.
Good day, Naughty and MJ. I wouldn't be surprised if the contract for the road work in Freeport, is that deal still alive or what? I hear it's on pause.
Inquiring minds want to know, because what does pause mean? And then no follow-up. I used to think the communications department at OPM was sophisticated. I totally take that back. A lot of what they've been putting out, and I've said the word before, I'll say it again, it's slop-again, and they're not doing the proper follow-up. So, yeah,
slop-aganda.
Please tell us, is that contract pause? Is it in forever pause, or what's really going on?
Be specific and Pacific.
Very Pacific.
Naughty.
Very specifically Pacific.
What happened to Stephen Colbert? What happened to him? You didn't put him on the list. Bill Maher. Come on.
Bill.
Trevor
John,
Washington.
Trevor got his little. He has a great podcast, I think.
He does, but he's a little annoying when he.
Yeah, I know you're annoyed.
But anyway, when we get out of here, I just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, to you, MJ.
And
from
to
me
my
and the
mom.
boys, we love you to pieces.
Thank you very much.
To my mother-in-law.
I do want to say happy Mother's Day to my mom. I hope she has a wonderful weekend that's coming in from me and all your children.
And to all my sister-in-laws, happy Mother's Day. And all of you are
And
my favorite sister-in-laws. And I love you all and I appreciate you all. And yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
May you get the pamperation that you deserve.
And to
of
all
you.
the moms in the 242, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Please enjoy your Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. And we up out of here. We will see you right here on Monday for more Talking Heads.
You maintain your calm towards your only end while sheltering me from the storm. And when it's cold, you wrap me in a towel so warm. Oh my, I'm so glad I was born. Thank you, Mama, for the 9 months you carried me through. All those pain and suffering. No one knows the pressure you bear, just only you. Give you all my love, oh yeah. Oh, thank you, Mama, for the 9 months you carried me through. Pain and suffering.
Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel wants to take you on a 7-day cruise for 4 to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba on Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part. No visa required. That's right, no visa required. You have 4 ways to enter, 4 ways to win. Number 1, fill out the form in the NASA Guardian. Number 2, listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9. Number 3, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Number 4, or make a purchase at any Going Places Travel. Entry deadline is June 27th, 2025. Drawing will be taking place on July 4th, 2025. So you know what that means? Pack your bags and get ready to soak up the sun and feel the ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones sailing the high seas on a vacation cruise of a lifetime. Brought to you by the Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included.
Fancy this one-of-a-kind Pesto Club sandwiches from Burger King Nassau like you've never tasted before. Choose from a juicy chicken breast or a 100% flame-grilled beef patty topped with irresistible fresh pesto spread, cheese, crisp bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Or start your mornings right with the Pesto Chicken Croissant for breakfast. It's a delicious chicken patty topped with cheese, tomato, and fresh pesto spread on a classic buttery BK croissant. The Pesto Club sandwiches are new, fresh, and only at Burger King Nassau.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.